Good morning. It is going on daily. I am your host, Ron Rigo. I am joined today on this 4th of July by Becky Turner.
Good morning.
Uh, I love it because we have like this dual thing going this week
Mm-hmm.
with Canada Day and Independence Day here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I love the fact that we've done the Vegas series with
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff that went on in Vegas and all that. This week we've been doing Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it because like you said, I think you said it the other day that it gets a raw deal because of United States' Independence Day, so it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Um,
Well, that and I don't think that Canadians have the same sort of national pride that Americans do. Not to say that, we don't celebrate, but
yeah,
it's not Independence Day, it's not July 4th. That's a wild holiday where
yeah. Well,
every day.
United States, I think people just look for a reason to drink, and Independence
Why do you
Day.
need a reason?
Well, they look for reasons, meaning, it doesn't matter what day it is. It could be Groundhog Day. People will get together for a party if they can. And so it's a little bit of that. But it is something that, a lot of Americans think, oh, this is when we kick, England's ass, right? to
Right.
bluntly, even though it's not. I mean, I don't even think that it was official until like the 6th or 7th. To be honest with you,
Oh, no way. Well,
I
I guess
remember learning that
it's
somewhere.
like Christmas, like all that one didn't go down on December 25th. It's just a date they
Right?
picked
Yeah.
out. So, I mean, July 4th, but it's funny, like they feel pride about 248 years ago. You guys beat British ass. So I think that's pretty funny.
All right. So Kenny has joined us already. Let's go, Becky. Thank you, Kenny, for being here. And then he remembers I'm also on the show.
Okay, Ron. Ken, I appreciate you being here all the time. I don't know anything about you. Where are you from? Please write it
So
in the comments. Or
yeah,
do
so
you?
he's actually the co-host for Sports Unfolded NBA show. So once in a
Okay.
while he joins us on Sports Unfolded,
Cool.
and he joined us the other day. Filled
Amazing.
in, and he did awesome. And Kenny, I know you set me up on that gold medal thing. I know you set me up on it. I went back and I watched the clip of the show the other day, and you could see him doing the side eye thing. It's like, I can't wait for this. Can't wait for this. Giggling, and he set me up. He set me
Jeez.
up when he
Kenny.
told me that the gold medal isn't all gold.
Oh,
Yeah, you missed that.
is it though?
It's not.
Well, I guess I'd be very expensive.
It's only worth $600 to $800.
Okay. Well, it's probably what, silver and
It's
then
yeah,
coated?
95% silver. There's only 6 grams of gold in it. It's
Well, I
plated,
mean,
basically. That's all it is. It's plated.
like what's the price of gold right now?
I don't know.
So
Isn't it
it
like
makes
400 and something
sense.
dollars?
Yeah, like to buy silver, it's like 40, $50 Canadian per ounce. The cost of gold is like 2,500. So I mean, it makes sense that it's not.
No, it's screwing the athlete.
Yeah,
Screwing the athlete.
yeah, exactly.
He shattered the image of the gold medal for me. He shattered it, is what it basically happened. But
Oh,
we got
Kenny,
a great show. We got a great show for you. It's
you
already
do.
starting. Kenny bringing back. He's giving me flashbacks just being here. So we've got some great stuff. We have dolphins,
Of course. Not
dolphins,
sharks?
not sharks.
Okay.
But there is, a crazy headline. Um, we have the cons of living in Canada.
Yeah, part
Didn't
2.
close, last episode. So
Mhm.
we get the cons this time. Today in history, of course, is the 4th of July here in the United States. So I picked out 10 things that, may or may not know.
Oh, cool.
Why are Canadians moving to the United States?
Mhm.
I think it should be the other way around. Um,
Mm-mm. You'd be shocked.
also Glacier National Park trail closures.
Oh,
I also got a bunch of stuff that you can do at Glacier National Park
cool.
that people might not even know. Most people probably don't even know where it is. It's in
I was
Montana.
gonna say, is it Montana?
Yeah. So we got that, and of course, you've got the top 10 Canadians with dual citizenship.
I'm trying to
Cannot
make
wait for
this
that one.
Canada and America. It's both of their days.
Yeah,
Trying to combine the two.
it's a good combo.
Yeah,
So we've got that, all of that, in a bag of chips.
and
In
a
our
bag of chips.
bag of chips.
Perfect.
Or a container, like those Pringle things.
That's right.
So we're gonna go into the headlines, but I had to mention these crazy headlines that I saw.
Mm.
I was getting ready to go on today. Yellowstone tourist caught trying to pet bison after posing with it for vacation photos.
I
Now, how stupid are you? Seriously. I
it
mean,
it's not your best choice. As someone who thinks every animal wants to be friends, I totally understand where he's coming from. But yeah, not a great idea.
no, I mean, this is not a dog.
No.
I mean, basically, it's a different kind of bull.
Yes, with a giant cow.
That's
And they're
pretty
not
quick,
nice.
too. Pretty quick.
I
And then
assume that these are wild, not like behind a
oh yeah,
fence or anything.
wild
Okay.
bison. These
Yeah.
aren't stuffed
Mhm.
in a petting zoo.
Right. Nothing that anyone's growing.
And then the other one, because you mentioned the other day we should have something on sharks all the time.
Oh, always.
Group group of fishing buddies get way too close to a hungry great white shark. How close is too close? In their mouth?
Oh my gosh. If I
Is
can
that too
see it,
close?
I'm way too close. Yeah.
So these are the headlines that I saw that I noticed when I was logging on to the program, and I don't know, it made me want to do those things, but just reading them off was just good enough.
Can you please go further into that shark one, like on the next episode? Because I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, I definitely will cover that one when I'm on. I don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah, next week sometime.
Yeah, I'll come on and do a segment, probably maybe with you and Mike,
Yeah,
because I think it's going to be you and Mike on Monday.
cool.
So
Yeah, that's I'm very curious to know like how they got too close. What does that
yeah,
mean? Are they okay? Where was
it's
this?
killing me not knowing right now. It's killing
I
me.
know. I need more details.
So I mean, we're gonna go in now to our uh, lead off story. This was it's kind of sad actually. The Dolphins. I mean, everybody loves Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Except in the NFL, nobody likes the Miami Dolphins except for Miami. But
I
that
know a
goes without
Miami
saying.
Dolphins fan up here.
No,
Die
no, not
hard.
a Miami Dolphins fan. I'm a New England Patriot
Yeah,
guy.
of course.
So, we don't like Dolphins.
No, certainly not.
But except for the actual dolphins
Yeah,
that are
everyone loves
swimming in the
dolphins.
ocean, um, it's hard not to like them, right? It's hard not to like them.
How can you not?
So apparently, out in Cape Cod, here in New England, um, there was a little dolphin problem.
No.
So workers and volunteers would noticed that a couple of places, the first place was not listed in any of the news, but there was about 10 or so in the first location that were kind of stranded, and volunteers got them safe out into the water again, right?
Okay.
And then shortly after that, 25 more were found stranded in Easton, Massachusetts. Um, so again, they helped the dolphins escape. And then the real problem happened. There was over 100 of them stuck in a place called the Gut. Good old Massachusetts naming these places, by the way.
That's a real name?
That is the specific location of the Herring River in
Oh, okay.
Wellfleet, Massachusetts.
Okay. The gut.
We call it the Gut because it's notorious for stranding animals. So I think they need somebody on watch all the time here
Mhm.
because there was 100 dolphins stranded
Wow.
in the shallow water. They got most of them to safety, but about 13 of them died.
No.
Yes.
That's terrible.
Um, so it was really a horrible story, even though a lot of them were saved. And you got to commend those people for
Right.
really trying to get them all out of there.
Mhm.
Um, but 13 of them did not make it. And it's kind of I saw a picture. It was not a nice picture to see. Um,
I'm Googling it right now. Well, just what the gut is. I don't wanna see those poor.
yeah, no, not a good thing.
Mm.
But they did manage to save a lot of them.
They did.
87 of them. I mean, you got to look at it the positive. They saved 87 dolphins.
Right.
That's the way you got to look at it. It is unfortunate, and hopefully they can fix this somehow. I don't know how they
Mhm.
can do that because then you're starting to play with Mother Nature, and you can't really do that.
No, you can't. I mean, that's sort of the circle of life, natural
Yeah,
selection.
yeah, yeah. It
But as
is.
humans, like, we don't want anything to get hurt, right? Especially not
No,
a
no.
dolphin. Maybe if it was like, I don't know, mosquitoes. Like, yeah, kill all the mosquitoes, but not the dolphins.
Exactly. So, I don't want to end this on a bad note.
I'm gonna say storm
With
cloud Ron again.
yeah, no, I don't like that. So I decided to go with some fun facts about dolphins.
Okay, I love that.
So, a dolphin can recognize themselves in a mirror.
Whoa,
How about that, huh?
that's adorable,
That must be pretty neat. I mean, think about the person that's researching this stuff, right?
right?
Just putting a mirror in front of a dolphin, like constantly.
That's cool.
They have the longest memory in the animal kingdom.
I could see that.
It's pretty neat, huh?
Mhm.
Here's a great one. This is a great one, and I would have loved to have been there to watch this experimenting. They can talk and understand each other on the phone.
Pardon me?
So, who's giving them this phone?
I'm sorry, don't they need to be, like, in water most of the time?
Yeah, you would think, that would like, I don't know how that works. I don't know how that
I
works.
also don't know how that works.
They can swim up to 30 miles per hour, 48.3 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
Pretty good. See, I did the conversion there for our
I
Canada.
like that. Thank you. For us Canadian listeners, although I do understand miles as well.
All right, and they can form megapods
Mhm.
of over 10,000 dolphins for
Okay.
either hunting for food or predators.
I was gonna ask you about that, like, did it seem weird to you that 100 dolphins were together? But no, I guess not if 10,000 of
No,
them
they
can
can
be
do
together.
10,000, you know, and there was another one that was intriguing. They can kill sharks with
I've
their
heard
nose.
that. Yeah, I've heard
With
that.
their nose. Like, what is that thing made out of? I mean, really? How do they kill a shark with their nose?
Just constant jabbing. I'm guessing it's not just one of them. Is it multiple with their nose can
It
kill, or
just
is
said
it one on one?
it can kill them with their nose.
Wow.
Didn't really state why.
So don't piss a dolphin off.
No, I guess not. Yeah, I mean, you gotta just Keep your distance.
I
And do
think
you know it's illegal to touch a dolphin in the United States? A
no, I
wild,
didn't.
a
I did
wild.
not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Like, don't they have these things swimming with the dolphins and stuff like that?
Domesticated ones, I suppose.
Well, I mean, they do that in Florida, I think, don't they?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
no, I
sure.
don't know about that. Maybe
Maybe
not in Florida. Or
I
maybe
bet
not,
they do.
because there's too many sharks out there. I wouldn't be going to swimming with a dolphin.
That's fair. It's probably in, like, a
That is a tour
aquarium
that I will
and
skip.
aqua park type place, maybe.
Yeah,
Have them
yeah,
domesticated.
yeah, I think that would be pretty neat, though. I'd
Don't
like that.
dolphins get, and again, sorry to storm cloud here, but aren't they a little rapey? Haven't you ever heard that? That you gotta be careful around a dolphin because they get excited?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I did see one of those facts about
Mhm.
dolphins that I chose not to do. But
Yeah,
now that
right.
you mentioned it, I might as well. I might
Sorry,
as well.
everyone.
Dolphins are very much into sex and foreplay.
Well, I mean, good for
So
them.
that is not
You and me
really,
both, dolphins.
you
That's
know,
funny.
so it is pretty funny. So that is dolphins. I loved I love the fun facts. There was like so many of them. It was like a list of like 80 something fun facts.
Cool. Have you seen those pink dolphins?
Yes, they're
Oh, they're
actually that,
beautiful.
it mentioned that in this thing that I was reading,
Yeah.
and they're albino. They're
Oh, is that
albino
what it is?
dolphins.
Oh,
Kenny
Ken,
likes the comment about the
the
rapey.
rapey dolphins. Sorry, Ken.
Okay.
A nice transition into cons about Canada, I'm sure.
Yes, yes, that is a great transition. Um, but listen, you're watching us on YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook at RI Broadcasting, Twitch at RI_broadcasting, and of course, Twitter/X at Broadcasting RI. Yeah, so let's talk about those cons as something just messed up here. The cons of being in
A
Canada.
Canadian. Yeah. So if you joined us on Tuesday, you saw that I gave the pros of living in Canada. And obviously, there are a lot. But like any country, there are cons to living
Oh
here
yeah,
as
there's
well.
there's cons. We have a lot of cons here in the United States. The prison system's awful.
Oh, I mean, that could
Lots
be.
of
I don't.
cons.
Hey, uh, I mean, our prison system is, I would say, worse because you can murder someone and be out in just a few years. So, I mean, not that I believe in capital punishment or anything, but I mean, there should be some sort of stricter.
So does that mean if I bring somebody to Canada and then kill them there, I'm only going to get a couple of years?
I don't know. Wouldn't you just go back home for that? Like, what
Oh,
is
I
it
don't
called?
know. That's what I
Extradited?
need to know
I
because
don't know. I've
not
never
that I'm
committed a
planning on killing
crime.
anybody. I'm just
Like,
saying.
let me commit some crimes and get familiar with the system and then like well, so part of one of these cons here is that this was at the bottom of my list, but I'll bring it up to the top. So Bill C-18 is a bill that came in last June from our government, our federal government, and people call it a censorship bill. So basically, as a Canadian, I can no longer find Canadian news on platforms like Meta, so Facebook, Instagram, or Google.
Hmm.
And so it's really hard to research a lot of things that are going on currently because of this bill. Now, people like me in the conspiracy circles, we went crazy for something like this because this is censorship. This is, you know, dystopian. Like you don't get to hear the news as propaganda. Doing some more research on it yesterday, the reason that they brought this in was because they want to preserve, and I'm going to put this like this. They want to preserve journalism for what it is left, and by having places like Meta and Google pay to repost, it helps these reporters is what they say.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's basically what they wanna do. Pay to post it on your platform. You don't get it for free.
Oh,
But in my personal humble opinion, conspiracy-minded opinion, it's because our government doesn't want us to know really what's going on.
I mean, look, I mean, we that's been a big topic for the United States as well, with all of
Mhm,
the, like, people getting their news off of TikTok, which is it sounds ridiculous to me. I mean, I
mhm.
wouldn't believe anything I see on that.
Yes and no. I actually find TikTok to be very interesting with what they allow. I don't find it as censored as the Meta sites.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you have articles in this country about what is the best news source for being objective
Mhm.
as opposed to one-sided, either to the left or to the right,
Right.
I mean, that says it all, right? I
Mhm.
mean, when you have to post that on who has the most objective news source, I mean, that just
Shouldn't they all
says
be?
everything. Right. They should all be.
I actually heard on Sirius, you guys have Sirius down there, obviously it's an
Yeah.
American. Anyway, Sirius Radio that Gen Zs, they say that, or sorry, Gen Z, which is the Canadian, Z is American.
Yes.
Anyway, Gen Z is, they say that their greatest news source is, or their most trusted news source is TikTok.
Wow,
So
that's
yeah, I
crazy.
don't know. There is a lot of misinformation everywhere. That's like, one of the negatives about the internet is that, and social media is that you can find topics for and against anything. It doesn't matter what you are looking for, you will find both sides of the spectrum and nothing really impartial.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, it's tough because I mean, we're going by what we believe, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's almost to the point now where you don't even know what to believe anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, no, you don't at all. So, yeah, that was one of the ones on my list of cons. Bill C-18. I find it to be dangerous. Maybe other people like it. Maybe reporters appreciate this. Some other cons, it's cold. It's cold AF here. Not always and not everywhere, but where I live, it is incredibly cold.
It's
Not in
true.
the summer. It gets up to between 70 and 100 in the summer fairly consistently, but in the winter, I did the conversion, so our -40 is your -40, so if you can understand what that means, that's where I live. Sometimes it's
Wait,
the
it
coldest
gets to
place in the planet.
-40?
Mhm. It got to
Good lord. Does
-50
that
this
count
year.
the wind too?
Sometimes. Sometimes that's just on its own. We do get usually a cold snap around January, and it'll last for a week or 2, and it is brutal. It is very, very cold here,
Wow.
and that's in Edmonton. There are definitely warmer places when you go to either coast, definitely on the Pacific coast, it's not nearly like that. It stays around the 32 mark. Uh, so yeah, cold. Definitely not warm like the States. Our
That's
What
tough.
were you gonna say?
No, that's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. But
-40 is stuck in my head.
yeah, right? Yeah, come visit. Remember, you're like, "Oh, I like the cold."
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, not until you
Every
experience it, it's
summertime
scary.
I go
You
visit.
can't even breathe outside. So another thing that is no good about Canada, our dollar sucks. So right now, for every $1 Canadian, that gets me 73 cents American. And on the flip side, a dollar American gets me a dollar 36 Canadian. So very lucrative for American to come travel in Canada.
Hmm.
Very expensive for someone like me who just went to Las Vegas. So it's like
Mm,
people say, "Do you do slots?" Like I do, but it's costing me a dollar 36 every spin instead of a dollar.
yeah.
Yeah. So that conversion is no good. We have a really high cost of living, very, very high cost of living. And I'm in Edmonton, which is in Alberta. We have one of the lower cost of living in Canada, but as you go further east and further west, it's insane. So to give
Montreal, Quebec,
co-
Toronto.
yeah, Ontario and British Columbia, those are the highest ones. So to give context to that, in Toronto, which is Ontario, to buy a two-bedroom home on average, and this is not going to be anything spectacular, you're looking at 1.18 million to 1.2 million just for
Wow.
like a 3-bedroom home. And a condo is 753,000. That's the average price. That'll be just like a small condo. In Vancouver, which is in British Columbia, that's like above Seattle, your
Mhm.
average home price is 1.2 to 2 million, and your rent averages around 3,000 a month. So
Wow.
it's pretty pricey. Yeah, where I live, I would say the home average is probably more like 700,000, and that's a huge jump from what it was. But yeah, it's really expensive to live here.
Jesus, I guess so.
Yeah, a lot of people are flooding into Alberta where I am because it's so expensive in these surrounding areas. Our taxes are really high here. So I did a little bit of research on this. So let's say you make $100,000 a year, just as a rough number. So up to the first 55,000, you're getting taxed 15% on that federally. After 55,000 up to 111,000, you're getting taxed 20.5%. So when you break that down, the first 55,000 is taxed $8,300. The next 45,000 at the 20.5% is taxed $9,200. And then provincially, we're taxed on top of that. In Alberta, it's 10%. So that's another 10,000. So of the $100,000, $27,605 is going to taxes. So you're not making 100,000 after all that.
No.
And that doesn't even include your Canada pension plan, your employment insurance, your benefit insurance, anything like that. So if you make 100 grand, you're lucky to see 65,000, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's I think it's worse here. I think
What?
it's a little higher. I think it's like
Really?
33% or something like that.
That's insane. How does anyone live like this? We need to
We
move
don't.
to, I don't know,
We don't.
Switzerland or something maybe.
We don't. You gotta make it up as you go.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, I mean, it's and the thing is, this country, and this is I'm actually glad you mentioned that because I remember the whole basis of this country leaving England
Mhm.
was the taxation without representation, right?
Hmm.
We didn't like the taxes. And here we are. It's worse. If we would have
Mhm.
stayed with them, it would have been less.
Oh, probably.
It would have been less.
Yeah, probably.
So here we are. Be careful what you wish for, kind of thing,
Yeah,
right? Because
right.
now we're getting taxed for everything,
Yes, for sure.
and you keep
Well,
jacking it up.
I said on one episode, we get carbon tax as well. I don't think you guys do that
Yeah, I
down
still
there.
don't even understand that one.
Yeah, my husband was trying to explain it to me last night, and I'm like, this is stupid. I don't even want to hear it. So anything goods and service, basically, like if it had to be in a truck to get transported, there's a carbon tax on it. Your fuel, carbon tax on it. Like I think it's an extra 3 or 4 cents per, well, ours is liter, so that would be times 4 for you guys. So, 16 cents per gallon on top of everything that you're already paying as a carbon tax. So, yeah, basically everything we buy is a carbon tax. And I went to the Canadian government website and it says right on it, the only way to fight climate change is to tax carbon footprint, basically. It's to incentivize using less of a carbon footprint. But like, how is anybody going to get any goods? Because it's not like, especially in a climate like ours, like, how are we going to get a lot of fruit or vegetables or things like that? And we have such a short growing season. So, we're forced to import things. I don't know. It's a
Yeah,
scam, in my
I'd
opinion.
like I'd like to see the comparison of
Mhm.
taxes between the 2 countries because
Right.
I believe, like, our gasoline for cars, is taxed, I don't know, something like 30 cents on a gallon
Mhm.
before it
Mhm.
even hits the fuel pump for you.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's already hefty
Mhm.
with
What
the
do you
tax.
pay for gas right now per gallon?
It's probably somewhere around 3,
Okay.
to 3.50,
Okay.
depending on where you go and stuff,
So
so
let's say it's 3. I'm trying to do the conversion quickly in my head. So half of 3 is $1.50, half a dollar 50 is 75. So that would be 75 cents per liter. Here right now, we pay $1.50 a liter. And again, we're in the least expensive place in all of Canada. So $1.50 a liter. So times that by 4, that's $6 a gallon is what we'd be paying up here.
Wow.
Who
Jesus.
can afford it? And again, we're one of the cheaper ones. So
Mm,
Canada is very expensive, but you're right. I would like to see the comparison between a lot of
that would
things.
be interesting. That would
Yeah,
be
just quickly from some of the other cons, the public transit system is very poor when you get to outside major cities. It's just not a thing just because we don't have the same kind of population, so it's not really needed. The town that I live in, I grew up in this town, we did not have public transit. It's probably like within the last 10 years. So to get to the city, like I'm in a suburb of the
mm.
city, you had to drive or that's it. This is an interesting one. Elective surgeries, so cosmetic surgeries are very high cost here.
Yeah, you were talking about that
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It I don't know why. I mean, I've definitely traveled for surgeries myself, so there's a reason for that. Um,
mhm.
I put this down. People aren't that nice. You think that Canadians are so nice. It's just that we're
Hmm.
not as confrontational. We're not like outwardly as rude, but Canadians are rude. I don't know. I just don't think we're as nice as everyone thinks we are.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't think we're as, like, abrupt with things, but
Yeah,
we'll take it. We'll talk bad about people behind their backs. I had a
like
French
a
nanny.
quiet rudeness.
Yeah, I had a French nanny when my kids were young, and she said, "Everyone thinks Canadians are nice." She's like, "Canadians are not nice. They're just talk bad about you when you're not in the room." Like,
Oh,
"Yes,
jeez,
that's correct."
that's funny.
Yep. Another con is it's very expensive to fly across the country. Like it's cheaper for me to fly down to the States than it is for me to fly to a different province. Um, our phone plans are really, really expensive. You always see these commercials when you
Mm.
watch American television for, oh, get this cheap T-Mobile or Sprint or whatever you guys have.
With Ryan Reynolds, a Canadian.
Yeah, that's right. Our phone plans are very expensive. I have two phone lines on my phone line, like my kids. So they have like small plans, and then I have my plan. It's $300 a month. It's not
Oh
cheap.
my god,
Yeah, it's crazy. My plan alone is $140 a month. So
Jesus!
yeah,
That's
it's
why I do those prepaid ones. I pay $25 and I get everything that everybody else gets.
he's got burners, hey?
Yeah,
A
well, it doesn't matter if I drop it and break the phone because I
That's
only
fair.
buy cheap ones because I'm always dropping and breaking my phones.
That's fair. That makes
So I
makes
don't do like the iPhone thing and pay
yeah.
$700 for it.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Just 2 more. We don't have Canadian pride, like I said earlier. It's just not the same. We don't have a great sense of identity here. We're not really proud to be Canadian here, I would say. Um,
Except in the
which
hockey stands.
oh, yeah. When it comes to hockey, yes. And, Olympic time, yes. But any other time of the year, it's like it's not the same as the States. I admire that about the States. And then finally, our government is trash, but we're not allowed to
Well,
talk
it is here
politics.
too.
I would take your government, and a bunch of people
Oh, I
are
don't
moving to the States because they appreciate your government. But yeah,
I don't know.
that's it for
Oof.
cons of Canada. I could probably think of more, but
Wait
I
till
will leave it
election
at
day here in the United States.
that. Is
That's all I
it?
got to tell you. Because it's going to be hell no matter who wins. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Extremists on both sides are making it very difficult for the rest of us.
Yeah, right. We're the centrists here.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Like, let's just everyone get along without pushing anything on anyone else and without getting mad that other people aren't supporting you for stuff. Like, let's just live our lives and not worry about it.
So Kenny said he's paying 348 in Connecticut for gas.
Okay. So $350, 75. Yeah, still about half the cost of
Yeah.
here. I wish. I wish, Kenny.
Yep. So yeah, so I mean, like you gotta have money to live in Canada, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it's weird too because it's very different here in the United States from areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can go to Indiana and buy a house for like $30,000,
Yeah.
and you can't even get a shed for that in like New York.
Yes. Well, I find like Canada has a bigger middle class, I would say. Everyone is well, not everyone, but a majority of people fall into that middle class, where the States,
Yeah.
I think there's a greater disparity between upper class and lower class. There's
Right.
like a much smaller middle class in the States.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Mhm.
You have any others? Is that the
What
last one?
cons? Yeah, no, that's it. I could think of more, but that's it for now.
Oh, I look. We could be here all day talking about pros and cons of
Yeah,
countries,
right.
all day.
All day.
So, we will move on to today in history. Look
Mm.
at all those graphics right there, huh?
Oh, wow, look at that.
Look at that. I got some interesting stuff. So we're gonna go from the oldest, meaning back in history further,
Mhm.
to more current. So 1636, Providence, Rhode Island was formed.
Okay.
That's, in my
Where
state,
you were. Yeah.
capital of my state.
Mhm.
Pretty nice. Pretty nice. 1796, first independence celebration was held. That was the first one, 1796.
20 years after the Declaration was
Yes.
signed? Interesting. What are they
Yeah,
doing for
I'm
20 years?
surprised.
They weren't excited 20 years prior?
I guess not. Like,
Weird.
was it no big deal?
Yeah, they were very, professional, and this was a business transaction, and
I'm
then
guessing
someone
so.
in 1796, someone was like, "Today is a day to get drunk. We're doing it."
Yes, that was it. That must have been it.
That must have been it.
So 1803, Thomas Jefferson announced the Louisiana Purchase. So it
Oh,
had already happened,
mhm,
but they announced it on the 4th of July in
cool.
1803.
Okay.
So 1826, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams both died on the 50th anniversary of the country.
Oh,
These are like the founders of the country,
and they both died of the s
and they
same
both
day?
died at the same day.
Did you hear why? Like, just old age or
Hey, yeah, they were. I mean, they were
dysentery?
old. They
Okay.
were really old,
Okay.
especially back then. It's like so. It just happened that they both died on the same day.
Dang. Wow.
Yeah, 50th anniversary. In 1827, slavery was abolished in New York.
Amazing.
1827. Imagine that. I mean, it took that long.
Mhm.
1884, the Statue of Liberty, was presented to the U.S. in Paris.
Cool.
So that is when they said, "Hey, you can have this. Take it home. Take it home."
Cool.
So that's when we get the Statue of Liberty on Independence Day in 1884.
Mm.
In 1888, here's an interesting one. The first rodeo was held in Prescott, Arizona.
Oh,
First
the
rodeo.
first one.
Yep. Yep.
They
So that's
just had some
when, when
crazy
they
bull
did
and they
bull,
thought,
selling bulls.
yeah, they just thought, "I'm gonna ride this thing because
Yeah.
we've been drinking all day, it's Independence Day, and let's get
Yep.
on this bull and have people watch
Right.
me do it."
Right.
Yeah.
That's what they decided was fun.
Okay. America.
All right. 1931, and this surprised me. The first fireworks were held at Cleveland Stadium.
Okay.
Very first fireworks on
Yeah.
Independence Day.
Yeah, well, I was saying in my episode about Canada, the first one was not until, like, the '70s or something, or '60s. I don't
Crazy to
remember the
me.
exact date now.
That's
It's
crazy.
crazy. I know.
1931. Did not know that. And in Cleveland.
Mhm.
I'm
Of all
surprised it
places.
wasn't like Washington, D.C. or
Yeah, right.
Philadelphia.
New
New
York
York.
even. Yeah.
Nope. Cleveland.
Cleveland.
There we go. Cleveland. 1939, the first Major League Baseball player to have his number retired, Lou Gehrig, when he
Aw.
made that luckiest man speech.
Mm,
So he was the first Major League Baseball player to have their number retired. Number
interesting.
4, Lou Gehrig.
Cool.
And 1970, Casey Kasem's American
Mhm.
Top 40 debuted in LA.
Okay.
American Top
I like
40.
it.
People listen
Yeah.
to that all the time.
I remember them playing it on radio stations up here when I was a kid.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
And then he died, and then it wasn't the same.
Hmm.
Not the same. Nope. So those are the ones that I picked out for today in history.
Cool.
I was a big Casey Kasem fan, so
Hmm.
I had to include that one. So,
I
and I
remember
didn't even
him on.
include like the actual Independence Day.
No, but
And
those
there
are
was
good.
stuff
Those are
way before that, but nobody knows who anything was
no,
about
of
that.
course.
It
Those are
was all
interesting
like
facts. I like that.
famous battles and stuff like that, and places people don't even know of.
Yeah.
So that is today in history. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if you're just joining us, and you're gonna have to go back and watch the parts you missed. It's good. It's going on daily, and it's been a good morning so far on the 4th of July. And look, Becky, I got my going
I
on
love
daily
it.
mug. They're going to be available for people that support the show on Patreon.
Awesome.
So you go to Patreon at RI Broadcasting, you can get this fancy mug.
Cool.
After you support it for a little while, because it's only $2 to support. It's only $2 to support. So when you first support, you'll go get some stickers, and we have stickers somewhere. They're out of reach, so I can't
Somewhere in
really
this
show
house.
you. They're like way over there. But you get stickers for the show, and then we're gonna have like coasters.
Cool.
When you support, a few weeks, and then a few months, and then the mugs, and then T-shirts. Hopefully, we get T-shirts coming soon. But yeah, that was today in history.
Cool.
We're making history. Come on. If you haven't watched this show, well, I guess they would be watching the show because they're listening to me, so they're watching the show.
Yeah, that's right.
So they are. All right. So we have. Why are Canadians moving to the USA?
Hmm. So this is good that we talked about the cons of Canada, so now you understand a little bit more. So, what do you think the number one reason why people are leaving Canada?
I would say because it's cold.
Oh, okay, that's definitely on the list for sure. No, the number one was cost of living. It's as long as you're
Yeah.
not moving to one of these
Yeah.
border cities, you're like you said, you could buy a house in Indiana for dirt cheap. So, Canadians, especially millennials and younger, are seeing the value in that. Like they're never going to get into the mortgage market here in Canada, so you may as well go down somewhere. Now,
Yeah.
it's not
Makes
super
sense.
easy to move to the States unless you have a job lined up or you've married somebody from there or you're very wealthy, which we're
Yeah,
not.
and it's getting harder and harder every year to really get ahead.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So, just for some stats here, in 2022, 126,000 Canadians moved to the States. That's up 70% from the previous year. And I was thinking about that. Why 2022? Well, I remember because 2020 and 2021 and into 2022 here with COVID was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. If you were right leaning, if you were conspiracy minded or anything, you were ostracized. I was fired from my job because of it. Like it
Wow.
was heavy up here, very, very heavy. So I'm not surprised that 126,000 of us left in 2022. I'm
Jesus,
really
that's
not.
a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. Of that list, 53,000 were Canadian born, 46,000 American born and living up here and moved back, and 30,000 had already immigrated to Canada and were leaving.
Mm.
So that one shocked me, the 30,000, because you come to Canada for a better life, right? You think it's, this
And
picture
it's
perfect,
the opposite.
and they're also leaving. Yeah, they're also leaving. So another reason why people are leaving is because of politics, obviously. Our government has been in since 2015, and that's all I will
I
say
got
about
some
that.
news for them. If they're leaving because of politics, you ain't
Mhm.
gonna get better here. It's not better.
Well, I feel like your state politics have a lot more influence than our provincial politics. Like here, I think our federal government has more control over our provincial, where
Mm.
I think it's different down there. Like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but your state government has a lot of power, does it not?
Yeah, I guess it does.
Yeah.
Of course, we have a few nuts running states,
Mhm.
and that doesn't make it easy either.
No, yeah, no, you're right.
On both sides of the fence.
Yes, definitely. So when I was doing this research, I was looking to see where people were moving, and I'm not surprised. Most of us were moving to Florida. And I
Mm,
know that Florida gets a bad rap in the States. You guys have a lot to say about Florida, but I don't know, it's appealing to Canadians.
I guess. I mean, personally, if I'm Canadian, I'm moving to Miami, not Miami, Montana,
Mm,
Wyoming,
mhm.
because I think that is more of what you want
Right.
for
Yeah.
for being a Canadian, because
Yeah.
it's going to be very similar lifestyle.
I would think so. Definitely coming from Alberta down to Montana or Wyoming, I think it would
I
be
think
very
going to
similar.
Florida is a culture shock.
I would love
To,
it.
to be honest with you, I
Well,
think
I
it'd
mean,
be
I think we're just so tired of how cold it is. We'll take a hurricane. We'll take the big bugs if it means
yeah.
that we don't have -40 winter.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Like
It's different.
anything,
It's too much of a change, I think.
right. And of course, the grass is not always greener, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah. As of 2020, the statistic is that there was 800,000 Canadians currently living in the States. So when you figure
Oh,
126 of those came in 2022, like that's a huge jump. That's over an
that
8,
that's a
right?
lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. So more reasons that they're leaving: inflation, obviously. It was saying that you can get 20% cheaper homes in the States on average.
Yeah.
Our healthcare, I know that we have free healthcare here. We talked about this, Rick and I, the other day. Our healthcare is free, but it is backed up. It is not fast. And so people are preferring to live in a place where it's privatized so that they have access to it faster.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you get fixed now, and then you pay for it for the next 20 years.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, what's the trade-off? But I guess you can look at it this way. Like if you're sick and you're not getting in to see a doctor for months and months or a year here, you might be dead in that time. So to go down there, it might be worth it. So I don't
Yeah, I
know.
mean,
That's a
I
toss
guess
up.
it depends on what you earn for a living, really, too.
Mhm.
I
Right.
mean,
Well, I'm guessing if you're coming down to the States for cheaper housing and lower taxes, uh, you're probably not making as much as you should be to afford
yeah,
all the bells and whistles with your healthcare.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that.
Mhm.
So it's interesting that there was that many. That's kind of shocking to me.
Shocking, isn't it? I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll see. Maybe I'll be one of them one day. That's my dream. Come down there. Somewhere warm. It doesn't even matter where I go, just somewhere
Well,
warm.
isn't anything south warmer,
Ye yeah, I would by that logic, yes.
right?
Closer to the
I
equator
mean,
means
you
warmer.
can go completely in the opposite direction and just go to Hawaii.
That sounds okay too.
I know there's property available right near that volcano.
I don't wanna be that hot.
Oh,
Hot,
okay. Right,
not
right.
on fire.
All right. So any more of these
Mm,
reasons?
no.
Because that's pretty. It's pretty startling that there's that many.
Mhm. Yeah,
Pretty
I know.
startling.
I'm shocked.
All right. So we have the Glacier National Park. I love this because when I started looking at what do they have available there to do, right?
Mhm.
I mean, the whole point of this is to talk about the trail closures. But I'm going to touch on what they have to offer at Glacier National Park. They have whitewater rafting, which I've
Cool.
always wanted to try.
Oh, it's so
So
fun.
I need to go do that.
Go do it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, they have
And scary.
a scenic float in the middle fork of the Flathead River where you
Cool.
just float and they show you trees. And,
Sounds okay.
I don't know what else
Beer
there
in
would be.
hand,
Trees,
probably.
rocks, cliffs, you know.
Hey, if you're into nature, that sounds pretty tranquil.
Right, relaxing, right?
As long as you're not
They
hitting
have
rapids.
they have snowshoe trekking,
Cool.
right? Snowshoe trekking, whitefish guided bike tours,
Hmm,
kayak tours, um, hiking tours, snowmobiles, boating. They even have pottery lessons there.
cool.
I don't know how that ties in. Probably Native Americans.
Maybe, or maybe the earth is like rich in
Yeah.
clay and things. I don't know.
So they have off-roading with those four-wheeling vehicles there. I forget what they call them, like RTZs or something like that.
Hmm.
And my favorite one out of all of this, the illuminated kayaking. So they have like
Oh.
these like kayak kind of boats, and they're clear except for like the borders and the rims and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And they illuminate like blue and green and stuff like that. And you're floating out there at night, and it just lights up. It's pretty
Wow.
neat looking.
That is cool.
That is pretty neat looking. But again, I mean, there's always some bad that goes with the good, right?
Hmm.
And they currently have 3 closed trails and 12 under bear watch warnings.
Oh,
So apparently, there's over 1,000 wild bears in Glacier National Park.
oh no.
300 of them are grizzlies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they closed some of the trails because of aggressive bear activity. Apparently, some people have been eaten.
Oh, okay.
So but it is nature and you have to be alert. I mean, it probably isn't even just bears. I mean, you got to think there's wolves, mountain
Cougars?
lions,
No,
coyotes.
lions, yeah.
There's probably a lot of predators
Oh, I'm sure.
out there, right? And they
Yeah.
might not even be mammals. They could be reptiles.
Right.
I think
I'm sure
there's
there's a heck of a lot of snakes out there.
snakes. I mean, it's all goes
Spiders.
into it, right? Yeah, spiders.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I don't know. I don't know of any, oversized birds out in that area. I mean, besides eagles and hawks, I don't think you're going to find,
Well,
too many birds attacking you. But who knows? Who
you never
knows?
know.
Right? Could be a Bigfoot out there.
Probably a Bigfoot out there.
See, all those conspiracy theories.
Right?
But so I mean, they've had some aggressive bears in the park, so you got to be alert. But it
And it's a
sounds like it's
shame because
great.
they kill them because they attack, but it's
Right.
like they're just doing
That
what
they're doing
bears
what they're
do.
supposed to do.
Yeah, it's a shame.
You know, I have no problem with. I wouldn't kill a bear because they killed a person. I
No.
mean, like you said, nature's way of selecting.
Right? If you're out there trying to take a picture with a bear, I mean,
Not too smart.
like,
They
you're
do it.
probably gonna die. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get mauled.
Yes.
And you deserve it. To be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Yes.
you deserve it.
You see bears all the time in the mountains where I am, and you always see tourists out there trying to get pictures, like outside of their car. And I mean, I've definitely been that person as well. It's like, you know how strong a bear is, right? Like, you know that they're gonna,
Right.
especially if they've got cubs around, that bear's coming for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cubs, that you don't mess with a bear with
No,
cubs.
no,
I mean, it's human nature to want to go and take a picture,
of
you
course.
know.
Take it
But
from your vehicle.
yeah, eh, be
You
safe.
know.
Be safe. All right, so we have one more thing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, dual citizenship with
yeah.
Canadians.
Yep, keeping in line with the Canada meets America theme here. I picked Canadians who have dual citizenship. And so we talked about famous Canadians the other day, Rick and I. And
Yep.
so I'm not going to do anyone from that list. I picked totally
Wait,
different
no
ones here.
Michael J. Fox?
Well, he is on my list, but I have dots
Oh,
beside the important ones. So I'm going to.
okay. So as long as he's on there, your list
Michael
is
J. Fox is there because he is a national treasure. What a delight that little guy is.
I know.
Number 10, Alex Trebek.
Oh, so
Jeopardy.
it doesn't matter if they're alive or dead.
Oh no, he had American citizenship.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Eric McCormick. He played Will from Will and Grace,
Yes.
and he's a great actor.
Yeah, he is.
Number 8, Nia Vardolas. She is from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. She's the main character of that. I
Oh,
think she
okay.
wrote all of them.
Yep.
Canadian, and
Ah,
spends her time in the
see?
States.
Who knew? I thought
This
she was
one,
Greek.
what? Sorry.
I thought she was Greek.
Well, I don't. I'm sure her parents were from there. I don't think she's
I'm
from there.
sure. I'm sure.
This one is kind of a wild card. I figured you wouldn't know it, but Gail Simmons, she is one of the hosts of Top Chef. Top Chef's my favorite show. So, of course, I
Okay.
had to add her to the list. Tristan
Oh,
Thompson,
Tristan Thompson.
yes, Canadian,
Is he really?
apparently. And
The
in
NBA player.
Yeah, and in I can't remember what year, about 10 years ago, he became an American citizen.
Oh, snap. How about that?
Yeah, interesting, right?
Yes. Good ball
I
club.
didn't know him for basketball. I knew him for the drama with the Kardashians, but
Oh, okay. All
not
right.
that I follow that either. I just know pop culture.
Chakra, thanks for joining.
What number are we on? 5, I guess. Hayden Christensen. So he's an
Oh,
actor known for
yes.
playing Anakin Skywalker in the Star
Yeah.
Wars prequels. Canadian. Nina Dobrev. She's another actress. She was known for Vampire Diaries
Oh,
and
okay.
a bunch of other movies. Yeah, another Canadian. Anna Paquin,
Oh,
another
I know Anna
actress.
Paquin.
Yeah, she's that blonde girl. I think does she have the
Yeah.
gap in her teeth? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, she's been in a lot of sci-fi
True
stuff.
Blood or something? Is that
Yeah.
the one she's in? Yeah. And Catherine O'Hara, number 2.
Oh,
So I don't know if Schitt's Creek is a huge show down there, but it was a huge show up here.
yeah, it's a very popular comedy down here.
Such a good show, Canadian show. She's also the mom from Home Alone. So Catherine O'Hara.
Yep.
And coming in at number 1, this one is very interesting. Elon Musk
Oh,
is not a Canadian, but he has a Canadian passport. He also has an American passport. He also has a South African passport. So
yeah.
he is
Yeah, he's
triple
everywhere. He's
citizenship.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Riding around in his little automobile.
Yes. So I mean, he's not a Canadian per se, but he's got a Canadian passport.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
my list.
No, I mean, the guy owns a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yes, he could have citizenship to any country. He just buys
Yeah,
it.
whatever he wants, really.
Yeah.
He probably
Yeah.
he's probably working on more, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
He's not my favorite guy for sure.
No, I don't think he's anybody's favorite guy since he bought Twitter.
Well, I like that. I like his he wanted more freedom of speech, I think, like less censorship. I appreciate that, but I don't trust the guy
No,
personally. I think
no.
he's up to something.
Oh, he's always up to something.
Yeah,
He's always up to something.
you're not the richest guy in the world and just, for the people. You don't
Yeah,
get that
Kenny's
way for
saying
being for the
Kenny said
people.
some people didn't make the list. Kenny, put down who you think should have been on that list.
Well, I had a few other people that I didn't write down. Michael J. Fox, Jim Carrey, Matthew Perry. Who else did I
Drake.
write? Drake. I was just putting people that I didn't have on my list on
Right,
Tuesday.
the other day. You didn't mention Sandra Oh.
No, I didn't. I did not. I'm not a Grey's fan, so I don't know. I've never seen her in anything else.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I have Sandra Oh on the little graphics down here, right there.
Oh, do you? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. And who's in the corner? Oh, that's Jim Carrey.
That's Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for my list.
Well, there we go. So,
Puts us right at 8 or 10, whatever time it is.
well, look, I mean, it's been a great show.
Mhm.
I love what we covered. Had some good fun
Mhm.
with Canada and United States having their birthdays this week.
Mhm.
I want to thank Kenny, of course, for being here as always, and of course, Chakra. If you're not familiar with other shows, Chakra visits all of our shows, and he plays video games on Twitch. So he's watching us on
Cool.
Twitch. So you got to check out Chakra, so help support him because he supports us all the time. Chakra_power on Twitch. And Kenny just posted Bret Hart,
Right on.
Justin Bieber, and Chris
Okay.
Jericho.
So obviously Kenny's a wrestling
A
fan.
wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber, of course,
And a pop star fan.
that young kid that sings.
Yeah. He was on my other list. I didn't even think about Chris Jericho or Bret Hart, but
No. And Kenny, for the record, it's Hart.
that's right.
Hart. I love you, Kenny. Look, that is the show for today. Be back. I'm guessing Monday. I don't know. I haven't talked to Rick the Shark. Whether or not we're doing a show on Saturday.
Mhm.
I'm up for it, but
Everyone's out celebrating Independence Week.
yeah. So join us 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock if you're in Edmonton, Alberta.
Mhm.
And it'll be you along with Mike Palmer
On
back on the
Monday.
show
Nice.
on Monday.
Sounds
So
great.
looking forward to that. I'll be behind the scenes,
Yes.
and
Commenting, hashtagging.
I may
Wow.
join you for that shark story.
Oh, Kenny says Shark Week, so
It is Shark Week, so I will join you for
amazing.
that shark story.
Okay, I will do some shark themes.
There we go. Okay,
Beautiful.
we're on board. So, hey, have a great day, everybody. Happy 4th. Stay
Happy 4th.
safe. Please don't do anything stupid.
Don't
Don't
blow
sit
your
there with
arms
a
off.
M80 in your mouth. Please
Yeah, don't
be
do that.
smart, be safe, and we'll see everybody Monday morning, 9 a.m.